This is the Alden Report.
All right. Well, my name is Michael Alden. We are here in Blue Bay Studios. You know what? And I have a little bit of a different look. We don't have the microphone, which is right over here to my right. I'm not rocking the glasses, and there's a reason why I'm not rocking my glasses. My guest probably doesn't even know that. Maybe my guest has seen some of the podcasts. I see I usually rock these 99-cent glasses, but I'm not rocking them for a reason. We'll get into that in a minute. You know, my next guest is a serial entrepreneur. She's a former venture capitalist. She has a really, really interesting story. She's launched an international business that is taking the skincare world by storm. She's also an author, and she's here today to talk a little bit about her book that she has out, and also about her skincare line and what it's doing for not only women, but for people all over the world. Please help me welcome Liz Edlich. Liz, thanks so much for being my guest.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be with you. And I love your podcasts and all that you do. And speaking of serial entrepreneur, boy, you've known how to hit that ball out of the park and swim in so many different ponds. So I love it. I love your tenacity.
Well, you know what? You want to switch places?
Sure. Actually, we're in the same place. It's always just a different pond, right?
So, you know, we got connected through a mutual friend. I know you're an author. I'm an author as well. And we were talking before we went live. We both have kind of played in this space of like health and beauty. Tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, I know that, you know, I've looked at your bio, obviously, and I've seen some of your stuff. Tell us about kind of how you started to get involved in the skincare world, because that was not your background.
No, not at all. I mean, we growing up, my sister and I, our father was one of the most famous reconstructive surgeons in the world and burn specialist and wound healing and repair. So the science of skincare was not new to us because we just grew up like that. That was part of our DNA in his lab, et cetera. But before that, I had been, you know, we grew up on a farm, Charlottesville, Virginia, and I was always looking for freedom, right? Financial freedom from the farm. And so at a young age, I'm doing everything from waitressing to valet parking cars. And then I started working with the American Heart Association when I was in college, and I was a human services counseling major. So having nothing to do with finance or anything. And what happened was my dad, the doctors don't invest well scenario occurred. And he had invested some money, and we thought we were going to lose the farm because he was
like literally lose the farm. Yeah. Like, it wasn't just a saying for you, it was a reality.
No, we were going to lose the farm. And he was someone that no matter what it took, this is a great story of radical adversity and overcoming it and turning it into opportunity. He midway of his career, he created steri strips, the little strips that close wounds.
Yeah. So it kind of did away with, well, I mean, you could use that instead of sutures, which really help with scars.
Exactly. And he actually gave that to 3M. Because he wanted them to take it to the world, to change the landscape of medicine and make a radical difference, and said he would do it and wouldn't take a royalty only if they launched it now and didn't put it on the shelf. So that was like quite radical. But what's even more radical about it is that 50% of his career, he ended up in a wheelchair with multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
But he still didn't stop there, and he started dictating 3,000 published peer-reviewed journal articles from his wheelchair. So you can imagine his income had gone down significantly, and the thought of losing our home in Virginia was quite scary. So I didn't know the first thing about finance, but you know, if you want something bad enough, you go figure it out, which is kind of like life's lessons. So I became a stockbroker. I said, someone in our family has to figure it out. So I became a stockbroker. And I turned our situation around. And then I got on this purpose-driven mission where I said, okay, I bet there's a lot of other people out there that are having these kind of mismanagements or horrible things happen to them in the markets, and they don't know how to right themselves. So maybe I can save them. So then I was like the number one broker in Virginia, and then ended up raising about $1 billion and became a partner in an investment management firm. And so I was that, but I never had a business class, never had a finance class. I took the Series 7, but my passion and my purpose was so much bigger than my education or any of the obstacles in front of me that it led to success. And then that became kind of rote, and it got a little boring doing the same thing because I was never really that passionate about finance. But I was.
Can I just stop you there and just ask you a question? Because you hear this a lot about male-dominated industries, which the world of finance, and especially within the world of being a stockbroker, you hear that as well. So what was that like for you as a young woman getting into an industry that you didn't know? Were there more obstacles than I guess a guy would have to go through? Tell us a little bit about kind of like the struggle there, because it couldn't have been easy to just pass the Series 7 and all of a sudden start killing it.
No, as a matter of fact, there were so many no's when I went to apply. I mean, I would go say, okay, I've got my Series 7 and I want to come and work for you. So I went to Merrill Lynch and then Payne Weber and Prudential. I mean, you name it, I went to them. And I was getting no. And I started thinking, and my dad always said, Elizabeth, one day you're going to be the president of the United States. Don't you ever let yourself think that you're not as good as a man. And that started when I was valet parking cars because I was waitressing inside. And I looked outside and these guys were making so much money. And I was like, well,
hold on. So you were, I hope you don't mind that, because I again, I know you've listened to the podcast, and we love to have real people like you on you didn't just come out of nowhere and just all of a sudden you make money. You didn't come from money. Your dad did okay, but it sounds like you got hurt really bad. So wait, so you were a stockbroker and you were like a waitress on the side?
No, I was first the waitress at the Omni International Hotel in Norfolk, Virginia. And I was looking out and seeing these bellmen and the guys with the top hats that valet park cars. And they were, parking Porsches and this and that and getting $100 tips. They were making $500 a night, and I'm like schlepping, pies and French fries inside. And, so maybe I'm making 150 a night in tips. I was like, this is all wrong. So I went outside and I said, I want to valet park cars. And they said, we're sorry, but girls don't do that. And they said, if you park the cars, you're also going to have to lift the luggage and do everything else. I said, and my dad, part of our punishment when we were bad is he used to make us do push-ups. So I could do like 100 push-ups. If that gives you any idea how bad I was, I could do like drop down and do 100 more than any of the dudes out there. So I did that. I was like, watch this. And I literally dropped down. I do 100 push-ups. I said, I can lift any bag, drive any car. And I did. And I made really good money. And I was working, the 3 to 11 shift, the 11 to 7 shift. And then I was going to school during the day. But it was like, and I remember guys with their Porsche pulling up and going, you're a girl. Do you know how to drive this thing? And I was like, yeah, thanks. Get out of the way. I got this. So that would be a really easy way to look at what happens in life when a woman enters, at least back in that day, into something like, I was the only girl, door girl probably that had ever been on the East Coast. And then there were maybe 2 stockbrokers that were women at that time.
Right.
And I just went from place to place and I said, I'm either going to make a lot of money for you or a lot of money for someone else. And I said, choose. And so, I think that eventually I just wore them down and they said the radical yes. And I was on my way. But
that story, again, we talk about how we kind of come from the direct response story of direct response world and infomercial world. And, the movie Joy about her struggles as well. It couldn't have been easy, right? Obviously. And, it was difficult. I want to just talk a little bit about the stockbrokerage role. So you finally get a yes from a firm. And what were your kind of early days like? Was it, how long did it take you to really kind of realize that, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this?
I think being a woman helped actually. in some ways, because I'm an empath, right? And I was really authentically wanting to take care of people.
Right.
Yeah, I think people feel your intention walk in the door even before you do.
Sure.
And they feel your passion. And so I was more about totally helping them change their portfolio, protect them so they didn't end up like my father and my family. So when that's your come from, when you really are on fire because you think you're another person away from changing their lives, nothing can stop you.
Right.
So I wasn't old enough to be, I mean, at one point I was trading options and da 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 da, but I wasn't old enough to have, years of experience. So what I would do is partner up with experience. So I would find the best money managers out there. And then I would allocate my clients with those different money managers, which is another lesson in that you don't have to know it all to do it. You need to identify partners that do, bring in talent that does, or associate or align yourself and educate yourself so that you can keep moving down that road, even if it's a road with passion, purpose, and intention, though, because people feel it. They feel your authenticity and what it is you're up to. And so I think that was a really big part of my success. No one could stop me when I would go into a room and they could, guys at the back of the room, like when I would be talking, because I then had a money management firm with one of the managers I'd referred to. And they said, God, this girl is so great at raising money. Come on over and be our partner, which I did. And, there would be those snide remarks or whatever in the back of the room when I would talk to a sea of brokers, like 200 brokers telling them why, this company was better. But at the end of the day, I was just on my game, and if you just stay on your game and you stay in integrity and you don't need to know all the answers. You just need to know why you're there and what you're delivering, and that it's going to change and help them. So it's all about them. So we went from that, and that was like a career cycle. And then we sold it to a bank, and I was bored of doing that. I really had no interest. I didn't want to read the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times, none, zero, had no interest. And so I really was interested in stories and people and entrepreneurs and ideas. So I funded a direct response company. And so I took my little marbles that I'd earned. And I remember, when sometimes if you don't come from, a lot of money, and it was to me all about the mission. I just had the money automatically deposited in my account. I'm quite young at the time. And I remember when my accountant said, well, you just made $250,000. And I just started to cry. He's like, why are you crying? That's good. And I was like, right. Because I can't even believe it was me. I mean, I wasn't about the money. I was about what my mission was. So then so here I am, and I'm taking some of my marbles and some of my clients' marbles, and I'm investing in a direct response company. And it's a hit. And this product goes from 0 to 50 million in no time. And it's like so exciting. And this is great. And I know nothing about this business. And my sister moves out from Virginia to work with me, and she's working inside the company, and I'm off doing other venture deals and private equity deals. And she calls me and she goes, Liz, my check bounced. I was like, excuse me? How can I raised millions? How can your check bounce? Well, the guy was like doing cocaine and throwing parties and this and that. So at the end of the day, he had been running through all the money. So here I am, the proud owner, and I brought in all these investors that I love dearly, and I'm owning a company that should be doing really well and very profitable, but in fact, the guy has just siphoned out a lot of the money. So I had to.
Let me stop you there for a second, because it's a very common theme that you hear within the world of direct response. My companies have generated hundreds of millions. I'm not sitting on hundreds of millions. I talk about it all the time. Talk about it in my books. I don't feel like there was ever any kind of mismanagement, but the interesting part about the world of direct response, unlike really kind of any other industry, and I think the name of direct response really kind of speaks to this, is that if you have something, if you have a hit, the money can come so fast faster than anything that I've ever seen. In fact, when I do other businesses, when I've invested in other businesses or started other businesses, I get so frustrated because I'm like, wait a minute, like, why aren't we doing 10 million all of a sudden? But the world of direct response allows you to generate money quickly. But the big takeaway too, as well, is that even though you're doing 50 million a year, it doesn't mean it's profit,
You're not dropping to the bottom line because half of that is probably going to media.
That's it. Well, half of it, 100% is
You
going
hope.
to media.
Yeah, actually, you hope just half. If just half goes to media, it's a really good day.
Right. Yeah. So that's interesting too. Talk a little bit about that part as well in the world of business, because I'm 46 and I'm just getting started. I have made plenty of mistakes, and I think one of the mistakes that I've made in my career is when things are going well, you do kind of take your eye off the ball, and you're like, oh shit, I just bounced the check. I talk about it in my last book, Blueprint to Business. I'm in my pool, I'm getting ready to go on my boat, and everything is great, and I'm just like loving life. I built this massive house in a private neighborhood, and I get a text message from a guy who says I owe him 12 grand. Then I was like, well, if I owe him 12, what about everybody else? And I get out of the water and I'm like, oh my God, like things are really upside down. Talk a little bit about paying attention to your business.
Well, if you don't pay attention to your business, you will pay the price of not paying attention, because it can be a runaway train.
Right.
And it's one thing to manage something as it's going up, but it's really, the art of selling and the art of inspiring people and being a front person is an absolutely different art than management and processes and having things buttoned up. And one thing I've learned, I cannot impress on everyone enough, is that you have certain strengths, but don't think you can do it all. You need to hire your weaknesses or partner to support what areas that either you're not passionate about. If you don't really like it, you won't spend time on it. And that's where that don't know that you don't know can bite you. And you don't even know how to claw out of what just bit you and how deep the scar is or the bite is, because it's an area you're not proficient in. So that is a perfect example of me owning a direct response company and then partnering with others. And then we started another, but then we hired the knowledge and the talent. And my sister, who's my partner with Radical Skincare, she's got a very different talent than I do. She is more process oriented. She's also inspirational, motivational, and does all that. And, co-authored the book and creates the product and the skincare, but she has the art and the ability to manage the process, manage employees, manage contracts and all of that. I'm like, I'll go get the contract and I bring it and I'm like, okay, now what? Now where am I going?
Right.
So it's a different.
So know your strengths basically is really kind of what you're talking about.
I think it's important. I think it's important because it's really easy to get blindsided and know that, and that's just like being honest with yourself. Some people want to control it all because they're afraid of giving up control. On that end, 50-50 is a very, very dangerous thing too when you have a company, because it has a lot to do with sometimes you can be in a deadlock. And also know your partners. That's also a really important step. I've had businesses that were amazing. I mean, we were doing so well. But if the people that you're surrounding yourself with don't support you and you're not synergistically in alignment with your goal, with your vision, and who you show up as, it's like being in a boat. One person is rowing forward and the other is rowing the opposite direction. And what do? You just spin. You spin and go nowhere. So, having the right team around you, knowing what you don't know is really important. And focusing and going deep in where your strengths are and continuing to learn more so you can get better and better.
I love it. You know, we haven't even talked about your business, but in a second, I want to talk to you about Radical Skincare, how that kind of happened, because it's an interesting story. It wasn't something that you necessarily knew, or you just were necessarily even passionate about until your sister came to you as well. We've been on with Liz Edlich. Liz is again, if you've listened to her talk, I mean, what an entrepreneur and what knowledge. Again, these are the types of people that I love to have on the All the Report. Real people doing real things. You heard her talk about some of the struggles. You heard her talk about, her own sister's check bouncing. This is what it's like to be an entrepreneur. It's not always rosy. It's difficult times. Even if you even have a little bit of money, you're still going to suffer and you're still going to have struggles. But you heard what she had to say. If you'd like some more information about Liz, you can just check her out on Instagram. Her Instagram is Liz, and it's ELDLICH. You can also just check out her company, which is we're going to talk about next, which is Radical Skincare, radicalskincare.com. You can also check out their Instagram at Radical Skincare as well. And at the end, we're going to, in true direct response fashion, we have a special thing that she allowed us to do. She kind of sprung it on me right before. And also, lastly, if you'd like to just pick up her book, it's called Get Radical. It's available everywhere right now. You can take a look at that, especially just get right on Amazon and pick up that book. So, all right. So you've been involved in some other businesses. You've raised some money. You were I know that you have now you have a little bit of a track record in the world of direct response with some other campaigns. We kind of just brushed over them. I could probably talk to you all day, but so tell us a little. All right. So Radical Skincare, massive company, literally sold all over the world. Tell us about kind of the genesis of that and how that happened.
Yeah, to your point, I was never passionate necessarily about skincare. The direct response that we started in finding that opportunity, it led me to understand. So sometimes your adversity and something that you get into that doesn't work, it's sometimes your best education, right? To go forward and then use what you've learned to do it better and better and better. So if you've experienced failure out there, know you're never starting over, right? We're always starting and failing forward to know more and start at a new level. So I think that's really important. So in having this experience, even though it was a painful and struggle, we then started to fund some other companies. And one was it was a skincare company, because we said, hey, this is pretty cool. You can put this up. You can show people before and afters. You can tell them why it works. You can tell the truth, and you can sell great products that work. So we did that, but it was more like people would come to us with products and then we would package it up or whatever, or we worked with a lot of celebrities, since I used to manage a lot of the celebrity money in the investment management days. So we would help to manage their brand and productize it. So we were doing that, and it was fine. It was a business, and we had no interest in expanding that business of skincare because it was doing quite well. And then my sister developed rosacea after she had her second child. And rosacea is when your face gets really red and bumpy and it burns, and it was chronic. And it was like, she went from having really beautiful olive skin to being like trying to cover it with makeup, feeling weird when she went out of the house, not wanting to have her picture taken.
And it's really painful too, isn't it?
It's really painful. Yeah. Right. And being doctors' daughters, we went and we looked at dermatologists and doctors and tried to figure this thing out. And there was nothing out there on the market that could solve her problem. And as time had gone on, I was just dealing with gravity. I had adult acne and then gravity. I was like, okay, honestly, can everyone just calm down? So it was the perfect storm where she and we said, you know what? We're going to get back to the lab. We're going to get totally radical, and we're going to create something for ourselves. We're not going to sell it. We don't need another business. It's too much of a hassle. And we don't want to develop something that is in the construct of margins, right? So if you're selling something on television or the internet, if it costs $1, you can sell it for 10. If it's 10, you can maybe sell it for 70. So it's like a 10-time markup, 15-time markup, etc. So we just wanted to put everything in the product at the highest levels that worked the fastest, and the highest level of antioxidants to protect from aging, and then calming to soothe and calm her skin, anti-inflammatory. And we developed a technology, because all of these ingredients many times don't stay potent in the bottle. So we developed a technology we call Trilacell, the power of 3. So antioxidants and then active ingredients and anti-inflammatories, bubble wrapped in a bilipid membrane that when it touches your skin, it goes into the skin and transform it. And in weeks,
Wow.
Rachel's skin was healed. It was incredible. And it was amazing. And then for me, people were, for the first time in my career, were stopping me on the street going, excuse me, what do you use on your skin? And we're like, this is insane. And then we kind of harken back to our dad because our mom loved it. And our girlfriends, when we go to lunch, we give them little doggy bags. We had these little orphan bottles that we just write, eye cream, serum, whatever. And we were thinking, here dad was sitting in a wheelchair and he changed the landscape of medicine. And his motto was always, to be a difference, you have to make the difference. And we said, what difference are we making? What legacy will we have if we keep this skincare that has transformed our skin, our friend's skin, and my sister's skin sitting on our bathroom cabinet? Like, what have we done, really? Nothing. So we decided we would take it to the world, and we never knew how to take it to prestige retail because we had sold direct before and the internet was just starting, et cetera. And, when you really make a decision, that you want to take something out there and transform people's lives, the universe will conspire and bring you the talent and opportunity to do it. And that's what we did. And so over 3 years, we launched in 17 countries throughout Europe and the US, and the Barney's, New York, Harrods, Space NK, Sephora, Saks, you name it. And Rachel and I opened up all these countries, and we were stunned.
Can I stop you there? I want to go back for a second. So so again, the genesis of it is beautiful. You really did it for your sister, really, ultimately, and then for you, to find, to create it's like the what do they say, the mother of necessity? I don't know, whatever they're saying, like adversity, right?
Yeah.
So you create this product really for yourself. You're giving it to your friends, your relatives, neighbors, and all that other stuff. And I like what you're saying. Obviously, like, wait a minute here, we got something. So you got something. So, but how do you go from just making stuff in a lab on small batches to then be, like, I want to know who your first yes was, and maybe also like what the plan was, because having, again, coming from this world as well, there's a lot of money involved, many times, as far as media spend and commitments to advertising and purchase orders and minimum orders and all that other stuff. Tell us a little bit about your first yes and maybe your first couple of deals and what that kind of looked like, because a lot of people who are listening right now are just, they're entrepreneurs. They're sitting in their home, maybe it's their side hustle, what have you, and they want to do what you've done, and they hear it. A lot of people hear the story. It's a beautiful story, but like, let's get into like the details. Like, I want to hear that first like meeting, or those first couple meetings, and what happened. And you're smiling, by the way, because I know you want to tell it. So I can't wait to hear it.
Well, it's because you start to. It's been a while since I thought about that exactly. The first yes, because I had so many no's. And well, first, the name was great, Radical, right?
Yeah.
Radical, strong skincare designed for sensitive skin, strong skincare transformation. So that was good. And our packaging was at the time fair. But so we take our packaging, we create Radical Skincare, and I know certain people and know certain people, and I'm just kind of knocking on doors. And I end up at Barney's. I went to Neiman Marcus, and I went to a bunch of different doors, and they were like,
okay, wait. All right. So here's the part that I want to get it. So when you say, like, okay, because of who you are and who you were then, I think maybe because your connections, by the way, I have 2 dogs. I saw your dog, but I walk right past I think they're Dachshunds. Which I love. So maybe because of your connection capital, what I like to call it, you were able to maybe open some doors. Is that how you first started to open some doors? You just leveraged the people that you know and said, hey, do you know anybody? Is that how it happened? You weren't like cold calling Barney's, or maybe you were.
Well, I did both.
Okay.
Because you've got to be unstoppable if you want to make something happen. That's the first thing. And every no is one step closer to a yes. And I was in Saint-Tropez, And I happened to meet a gentleman who they found out I had Radical Skincare, and it was Radical Skincare. It hadn't gone anywhere yet, but we just finally packaged it, bottled it, because we had been creating skincare in the industry in more masstige, right? We're celebrities and private label and doing that and doing that in a business. So we knew how to get our skincare ramped up. That wasn't a problem. But how do you get access to prestige? We knew nothing about it. And so I happened to be in Saint-Tropez, and this guy says, oh, in France. And he said, oh, what a great name. Oh, this smells divine. You need to meet the head of Estee Lauder, the ex-CEO of Estee Lauder. And I was like, yeah, game on. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm like, you tell me time, where, when. And the real story is my sister and I were so excited, and we flew to New York to meet with them. They said, you're going to have like 10 minutes. Okay. Like, you can't screw this up. You've got only 10 minutes. And she and I were so excited. We were having cocktails the night before. And it was like, there wasn't enough Radical Skincare to have hidden that. I was like, we walked in there, I was going, oh Lord, please give me the words and capability to actually communicate and take this ball down the field. But we did. And he actually had, of course, a huge network of individuals in this area. And he was really inspired by the story, loved the product, had his wife try it and friends. And he said, look, we want to play. We want to each give you money to be part of this company and help you take it forward. We have, it was Clinique, they had a Clinique, Dior, it goes on and on.
Wow.
And so that's how we were able to turn over into 17 countries so quickly, because they opened the doors, but Rachel and I would have to go in and pitch it and tell why they needed, with all the rows of skincare, why they needed Radical. Why was it different? How it looked different. The color was different of this than any other skincare out there, because it showed the color of the nightshade antioxidants and fruits, like the difference between white bread and wheat bread. So we did that. We hit the pavement hard, but I'll never forget going to Barney's, New York. Like I said, I went to Neiman and I had been set up some meetings, but I went into Barney's and I sat with the head buyer and I said, hi, and I've got Radical and and her skin looked pretty dry and it didn't look even. And she was redhead, and she was just known as like the battle axe. And she goes, excuse me, I just want you to know I'm not interested. And that's how our meeting started.
Right.
And I was like, great. Okay. Well, you may just want to try it, because this is like unlike anything you've ever seen, and try to see the color and see, look at the.
And she's heard that a million times.
She was so over it. Like, she goes, look, I'm the guinea pig. Give it to me. If I see any difference, I'll call you. You don't need to check back in. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'll be going now. So I hand her my product. I get out of there, go down to the corner. And I was like, Rach, meet me at the bar. I'm going to have a glass of wine. This is an ugly retail world. They're not even polite.
Right.
They're not even, hi, can I get you a glass of water or a cup of tea? Just like, not interested. I'm the guinea pig. And I said, but just mark my words, Rachel, she's going to see the difference. Because that's one thing our product does, is it really makes a huge difference, and fast. So within like 12 days, she called me and she's like, what are in these products? I'm walking through the beauty section and everyone's asking me if I've had a photofacial. How come my skin is so smooth? What's happened? So it was like that. And then the ball just started to roll. And then the press, and then the awards and things like that. But, time is that now we have a partnership, right? And so Rachel and I have these partners, and then we raised money, and now we're all over the world. And we're actually on the floor of these stores. And so we all know how this world has changed, right? It's gone from retail direct. And these guys had primarily been in prestige retail. And they're like, you need a beauty advisor. No one is ever going to buy skincare online without seeing it and feeling it and going to the store. Right. But we know that world has been eclipsed. And so part of being on a journey is to constantly be able to reinvent yourself and be relevant to the time and continue to serve and be there and also stay inspired. So we were losing when we got out there and we were talking with thousands and thousands of press, bloggers, and customers. What we realized is that, yes, they loved our skincare and it transformed their skin. But what they really wanted is to get back in touch with their passion and their purpose and their dreams. And they felt hopeless and kind of like, and it's similar to right now, the situation we're dealing with people are trying to reinvent themselves. Like, okay, what now? What about this new world? Everything's been turned upside down. How do I reinvent the new me in this new world? And that's when Rachel and we wrote our book before because we wanted to not just transform their skin, but actually give them radical rituals that could transform their life. So every skincare has a corresponding radical ritual, like from meditation to exfoliation, removing, fear, doubt, worry, negative self-talk, all of that. So there's this whole program to really create overall wellness for people. And because we know how you're feeling on the inside is felt by the world. So when the pandemic hit, we said, you know what? This is our opportunity to make a radical difference and get radical and take our product off the shelves. And where we're giving them the big retailers 50%, why not take this back and bring it into the heart and homes of other entrepreneurs that are looking to reinvent themselves? And if we could take all of our assets, all our research, our product development, our before and afters, our clinical studies, our awards, our press, our testimonials, and all of our video and our assets, and we could hand that to other entrepreneurs so that they could actually participate and reignite their own passion and purpose and create unlimited wealth for themselves and become our true partner on a journey, then we've created a movement that mattered. And that is where we currently pivoted, and it's where the company is growing like 1,000% in the last 2 months. And it's such an honor and a blessing to be able to give people something. So you get back to legacy, when you have the asset and the ability to serve and create opportunity, it's just the biggest gift ever, because it's in giving where you can really get inspired. It's in giving where you can really get on fire again.
So I hope you have some more time, because I want to talk to you next about the business model of Radical Skincare. And also I want to talk a little bit about your book. So hopefully we can keep you for a little bit longer. We are on with Liz Edlich. Liz, as you heard her speak, she is an entrepreneur. She's changing people's lives. She's growing businesses. She's an author. Her book is called Get Radical. It's available everywhere as well. And if you'd like some more information about Radical Skincare and maybe how you can get involved as well, you can go to radicalskincare.com. You can also check out them on Instagram at Radical Skincare. And also, if you want to connect with Liz, you can. Her Instagram is @Liz, and her last name is spelled ELDILICH. You know what, at the very end, we do have something special for the people that are listening and watching right now in true, again, direct response. We're just gonna let you know. We're just gonna tell you, we got something for you at the end. You want to stick to the end? Cool. If you don't, no, that's up to you. All right. So, as an entrepreneur myself, and listening to what you did, and also what you most recently did, which was pulling off the shelves of some of the most powerful retailers in the world. That is a huge business decision. I understand. We all understand what's going on in the world. We all understand retail is changing, but you're talking about powerful retailers even today, even with what's going on. You decide, you and your sister decide, the company, we're going to pull this off the shelves. We're gonna essentially have a direct to consumer model, or a direct marketing model. Tell us a little bit about that and how other people can get involved in that.
Well, it's really as simple as you can, to buy the products at a discount because you're part of like a Radical Access Club.
Okay.
So you really become part of a partner with us.
Okay.
And we have a brand partner program. So they can just go to radicalskincare.com and learn about the products, click on join and be a brand partner.
Okay.
And then that gives them radical access to the products at prices well below what they've been sold at retail for years. But not only that, when they share what they love with someone else, then they're able to also reap some of the reward and enjoy the rewards of that, a part of the revenue that was generated when that person sold or purchased the product. And then again, once they share it. But we have a very simple model, because a lot of the models that we found out there, you talk about direct response and it can kind of have an ick factor in some areas. And the direct marketing also is an evolving, changing market.
Sure.
And so we feel like this is more of an entrepreneurial empowerment opportunity where people can take skincare that's the best of the best in the world, that's had the awards, the clinicals. So they have these assets and they'll see the transformation in the mirror, and sharing that with people that they love, but also being able to use that to create a platform. Radical becomes a vehicle that they can create the platform to create financial freedom, to go after their dreams and their goals. So everyone has a purpose, right? Everyone has a dream. They have something that's bigger than themselves. And so your purpose out there is our promise. When we started to think about what are we here to do, we're here to take you in the direction of your dreams and let you use our assets. But a lot of times people get stuck, right? Well, I don't know how. Well, I've never talked about skincare. I don't understand. What about chemicals? I don't know anything about. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, because we actually have an entire back office that you hook into with mentors, with coaches, with people that take you there, like a video library, plug and play. And honestly, in life, I think most people want something that works, want something that they can see the difference in the mirror themselves, and they want to know that they're up to something more. They want to know that they're more than skin deep. And the fact that we have deep dives once a month, where our book, Get Radical, Secrets to Creating a Life You Love, my sister and I, we wrote this, and we take a chapter a month and we go through on a Zoom call. And so you have direct access to myself, to Rachel, and we talk about what are those tools that we've employed. What are the challenges you're facing, and how can we inspire and empower you to get you in the direction of your dreams? So that's really the gift, because when you're connecting in this powerful community of women and men, sisters and misters on a mission, because men, it's one of the fastest growing markets, by the way, for skincare. And it does make such a radical difference, and it's so easy to use. That it's business, it is a business, but it's born out of passion with purpose. And it takes people to financial freedom to accomplish what it is that they want. Or they can just be a customer. They prefer a customer and buy Radical Skincare and enjoy the fact that it really works, and that they can really realize that opportunity.
Lots of things to unpack there. Well, one of the things I was going to ask you, and it's one of the reasons why I intentionally did not wear my glasses, and one of the reasons why I wear my glasses, two reasons why. One, I just naturally, I get the bags under my eyes no matter how much sleep I get, no matter what. And I've been on camera for years, and when I'm on camera, I'm wearing makeup, right? So, and even when I do the podcast, I'm gonna let people know a little secret. I do put makeup on sometimes, even when I'm doing the podcast, because of the bags under the eyes, because you're getting older and you get the lines. And so that's one of the reasons why I wear the glasses. The other reason is because of the way the camera is on the Mac. So that's a whole nother thing. So I want to ask you about that, about men, and and how that's starting to change a little bit now. You're starting to see men-driven cosmetics. You're starting to see men-driven, skincare products. Tell me a little bit about what Radical Skincare can do for men, and why they should consider it.
Well, I will tell you that when you use Radical, you just see the difference, and your friends will see the difference. So the dark circles, that's well, bottom line is I know so many people that take Radical, the eye cream with them. So it's like you're
I'm gonna text you out. I need this stuff, so.
Well, you've got some Radical love coming your way. Cool. So we're all good.
All right.
I mean, you can go on and go, dudes, I have no makeup on. And
Yes.
That's what my sister does. It's like, she's the gal that never wears any makeup, especially with that crazy skin condition, but now it's all clear. So it really is about self-care, right? And, gravity doesn't really pick favorites. It isn't as if it's like, well, gravity is going to, walk by me today. It is what it is. It's, free radical damage, which is what is aging our skin. It comes from the inside and outside. So it's from stress, it's from smoke, from pollution, it's from all of those things. And so it's like, if you're a hamster on a wheel and you don't have anything to defend, you don't have any bodyguards to defend from all of these free radical molecules, which there are 10 of, which people don't know, coming at you, then no matter what you're putting on your skin, you're not going to see the radical results because you're just getting bombarded. So in our skincare, we've got the highest level of antioxidants, which blocks, like bodyguards, what's aging you. Then the highest level of actives that worked the most quickly. So we looked at the studies and said, what worked? Because we wanted it to work fast because we never intended to sell it. So what works fast and what works now? And so we got whatever worked, whatever actives, multiple actives in the bottle. So for your eye cream, it's dark circles, puffiness, wrinkles, hydration. And when you put it on, you feel instant firming. But bringing you full circle, because I know you talked.
Yeah, I've tried. I mean, so I've tried other stuff, right? I've tried some of the stuff that we see on TV, and you try it, and it does have that, kind of instant lift or whatever. But I've tried some stuff too that you see all over the place on TV, and they are on retail. And Liz, the thing that happened to me, I was like, oh, all right, you know what? I noticed the instant lifting. We all know that stuff. We know how that kind of works. But my eyes started burning. Burning my eyes, because that's a sensitive part of your face, right? So, so that doesn't happen, obviously, with radical skincare.
No, we're the strongest skin care designed for sensitive skin.
Yeah.
So what we're giving you is high potency, but because of our trilacell technology, we actually have skin calming actives. So it's married with calming. So it's potency and calming coming together, delivering radical results without irritation. And that's really key. So whether you have acne, whether you have, and dry skin, by the way, talk about men and aging, it's really simple. Dry skin is older looking skin. So if you're not doing anything to hydrate your skin, to keep your skin on form, it is the way it goes. It just becomes, the wrinkles become deeper and deeper and more impactful. So it's really important to have a regime. And when you're using your eye cream, I mentioned earlier, radical rituals, and you talk to so many entrepreneurs, and I'm sure I know you talk about, well, what is it that you do that makes a difference? What do you think your keys to success are? And I know for me and many of the mentors that we've had that are in our book and that help to coach the people that are part of our radical community, it's meditation or creating a space to be quiet, to hear. So we have a correlation between cleansing. Our cleanser, when you're doing that, remind yourself to take that minute and do a meditation, just 10 minutes, or be quiet for 10 minutes and quiet your mind. And then you talk about exfoliation. Another thing with skincare, if you don't take off the dead, dull your skin that's blocking your glow, how can you get good stuff in the skin? You've got all this dead stuff over. It's like putting skin care on a plastic bag. So you have to remove the old to get to the new. Well, it's the same thing in life. You've got to remove your fears, your doubt, your worries, your belief systems, your negative self-talk, the not enoughness to actually get to where you want to go. So there's a corresponding with your eye cream, it's visualization, seeing your goals, seeing it like a movie in your mind. So being able to remind yourself with a ritual, with a skin care that you're going to use anyway, morning and night, reminding yourself to anchor your self-care, because when you make those changes and you say that radical yes, it totally can take you in the direction of your dreams, because you are changing your habits and you're incorporating good food, for your soul and good food for your mind that helps to undo what we were never taught in school. So much of what we carry around and our baggage and our wrinkles, it's a lifetime of our journey of us working to be the best we could be, to undo so much of the past that wasn't even ours to have been done, and reinvent ourselves every day. So this is like a radical rebirth to what's possible, and of course seeing the results in the mirror. So it is the perfect storm, and of course coming at a time where people are looking for economic opportunity. They're looking to be a part of a community that lifts them up, that helps them be a better part of themselves. That matters. Community matters today, and finding one that's like-minded, just like in a business, any entrepreneurial business, finding partners, partnerships, and mentors is so key to getting where you want to go.
Boy, I tell you, I just love your energy, and obviously you are super passionate about it, and I think you do need that passion, right, for any sort of business. It didn't really start out that way. You weren't in that world of skincare, but you're obviously passionate about it now. I can see it in your face. I can see when you smile, your eyes light up. And again, this is why I love having entrepreneurs like yourself on, because of where it started and where it is and where it's going. And I also love the fact that your business, we haven't really had very many people on the podcast that people can just get right into your business and essentially become partners with you, like you said. So if you're listening or if you're watching right now, I hope you're watching, because Liz is just a beautiful woman. Her backdrop's beautiful. Everything about it is awesome. I hope you're watching it right now. If you're watching and you'd like some more information about Liz, you can just go to radicalskincare.com. Check out what they're doing. You can check out their Instagram as well. And then also, she has a book out. She talked a little bit about it called Get Radical. She wrote it with her sister. And it's more than just a book about skincare. It's about a radical change in your life. It's about making those radical decisions that ultimately will change your life forever. So again, pick up that book. It's available everywhere. Go right to Amazon and pick it up. Again, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but before I let you go, man, you have just given so much value and just such great advice for people listening. You got me fired up. You got me excited. I can't wait to try my Get Radical for under my eyes.
I can't wait for you too.
Before we do let you go, do you have any last thoughts for our viewers and listeners about not only the Get Radical product in company, but just the lifestyle that it offers, and maybe some words of wisdom for entrepreneurs that are looking to maybe kind of do what you are doing?
Well, the magic is in what you don't know, I believe, right? It's like every day we find ourselves doing the same day with people that are in close proximity to us and saying the same things and thinking a lot of the same thoughts. And so part of going where you want to go, one thing I would say, it's so critical. It's like if you got into your car and you were going into the unknown, you can't set your GPS. If you don't set your GPS, you're not going to get where you want to go. Knowing what you want, knowing where you want to go is so important. And you don't need to know how you're going to get there. Like Radical may be the vehicle for you, right? Or it may be a vehicle that leads you to another vehicle. But it's knowing what you want. You don't need to have the education to do it. You don't need to have the know-how today. You don't need to have the money to do it. What you need to do is really know what you want and then want it. Like want it where you feel it and feel, what would that feel like when I had that? So it's let it become alive and live in you so that it is a movie in your mind. And also not taking no for an answer, not accepting the unacceptable, because every day there's the powerful 3-letter word is yes, Y-E-S. And if you're a rocket ship sitting there right now, and every yes you see is a 1 degree change in where you're going, you will end up in such a different place than where you started. And so I think saying yes when you normally would say no is important. Reaching out and creating a community or accessing community, and like shows like yours, Mike, are so important because you are bringing a wealth of information, inspiration, and opportunity to people. Because this is where you can have a life-changing moment. It can just be one moment. And that is what life is. It's a series of moments. And it's up to us right now to make this moment count by taking action, saying yes, doing something that gets us out of our comfort zone, getting out of the bleachers and onto the field and playing our life full out. So I hope that what we've shared today, we are on a mission to make a radical difference, transforming skin and transforming lives. And we really know that how you're feeling on the inside is felt by the world. So the more that we can lift one another up to go to our next and better version of ourselves, and know that our strongest and most important asset is time. How many summers do we have left? Because if you think of seeing your parents, if they're older, or your brother that lives across the country, or your best girlfriend and you've moved, or your whomever it is, and you say, well, we get together once a year at Christmas. Well, then does that mean if you've got 5 more Christmases, you see them 5 more times in your life? So just like gravity, time's not a joke. It's not standing still for any of us. So it's up to you and all of us to make our day count, our moments count. Start saying yes, be in action, and think big, because it takes no more to think big than it does to think small. And surround yourself with groups, communities, people, and mentors like Mike and others that actually are here with this simple purpose to make your purpose our promise. So that would be my hope for all.
Wow. You got me so fired up. I'm so excited you came on. I'm so excited that we connected. Your energy, like I said, is just beautiful. It comes from a beautiful place. And again, for those who are listening and watching right now, I hope you feel the same way, because this is what we do here on the Alden Report. We bring you real people making a real impact on people's lives. If you'd like some more information, again, about Liz and her company and what she's doing with her sister, go to radicalskincare.com. You can check them out on Instagram at Radical Skincare. You can also, if you wanted to connect with Liz directly, her Instagram is Liz, ELD, LICH as well. And then also, if you decide that you want to buy the products, here's what we're going to do. If you enter in the code Alden10 at checkout, you're going to get a discount. I don't even know what it is, but that's okay. You're going to save some money. And also,
on Radical Skincare, when they go to radicalskincare.com,
yep,
you're able to shop and have a radical field day there. And you put in Alden 10 and you'll get 10% off site-wide. And we have a special gift for your community where we want to make sure, sisters and misters, we want to make sure the proof is in the pudding. We've got a free gift of the Youth Infusion Serum to infuse you with youth and help with targeted treatments to even skin tone. It's got 5% hyaluronic acid, so it plumps your skin. It's light. It's once in the morning, once at night. Perfect for guys, perfect for gals. And it's a one and done serum. So we want to give that to you as our gift to get you.
I didn't even know that. So we're getting a discount. We're getting some free product. And I'm excited to try it as well. So go to radicalskincare.com at checkout, enter in Alden 10. You heard Liz say what you're going to get that serum for free. You're also going to get a discount. And again, if you want to, do what Liz is doing, if you feel passionate, like the same passion that she has, if you want to help other people, if you're interested, and maybe, a lot of people are talking about that side hustle, maybe this might be your side hustle that might turn into your real hustle and your real business in your real life. Here's the other thing, and I don't know that Liz even knows this or not, but so I not only do I know this world, but I've owned companies like this as well. I was general counsel of companies like this as well, and I've seen what it can do for people in business. It's not an overnight success thing. That isn't how it works. But if you're passionate about, like what she's just talking about, and you really want to make a change, a radical change in your life, then go to radicalskincare.com. Again, enter in Alden 10 at checkout. Liz, and one last thing, again, pick up her book as well. It's called Get Radical. Her and her sister wrote it. It's available right on Amazon. And Liz, again, I want to just thank you so much for being here. You were amazing. You got me fired up. I could talk to you for hours, but I know we got other stuff we got to do. So again, if you'd like some more information, go to radicalskincare.com. Again, enter in the code Alden10. My name is Mike Alden. That is Liz Edlich, and we'll talk to you soon.